Perfect.
Travis Wall, you're nominated for an Emmy for Best Choreography for So You Think You Can Dance for the 6th year in a row. But this is the first time that you're now the defending champion. So what was going through your mind last year when your category came up?
You know, I had been there 5 years in a row, and it was so much fun every year. And every year I bring my boyfriend and my mom, and I kind of, you know, some years I anticipate, you know, what's going to happen. And last year I was just kind of like, whatever, you know, whatever happens, happens. And it was actually a tie. They called Dancing with the Stars first. It was Derek and Dessandra and Julianne. And I was like, if it's a tie, I was like, this might be a pretty good chance of I won. If they already went up, I'm like, I might have won. And so Kat Deely was actually announcing the who won the Emmy, and she looked down at the thing, and I was trying to read off of her face. I was like, okay, is she gonna read my name or not? And then she finally looked, and she came up to the mic, and she says, I have chills, before she even said my name. And once she said that, I kind of figured it was me. I don't remember hearing my name. All I remember is my mom and my boyfriend like freaking out, and I was like, oh God, it's me. And then I went up on stage, and I didn't plan a speech, and I started talking, and I started talking about my mom, and I just got super emotional, and I started crying. And I was backstage, and Kat grabbed me, and she's like, you're shaking right now. And I was literally shaking. So yeah, what an extraordinary moment in my life. And I will never forget those feelings, because it's incomparable. You can't prepare yourself for that feeling of winning something that you work so hard to work on your craft and create, and you're awarded for it, which is just unthinkable.
And since it was a tie and they announced Dancing with the Stars first, that's even a little longer for you to wait to see if you win.
You have to listen to their speech, and you're just like, okay, who is it? But again, it just made it more. The wait was made it better, just because I was just sitting there, and the anticipation just building and building. So, and we were about probably 3 hours into the entire show, because at the Creative Arts it's a long show, and our category was near the end, so it was a long wait.
And you know, what was it like to you know, to not only be awarded, but to also be able to, you know, because of the tie, to be able to share it with your peers and you know, people who also do this for a living, whose work you've been nominated against before, and
yeah. And, you know, Derek and I are great friends, and of course Julianne and Dessandra. I was so happy for Dessandra getting nominated for the first time, and Derek and I had a great night that night. We were like, let's go celebrate, and we were like buddies, and we held our Emmys all night, went out and had some food and drinks with friends, and basically had a party with the two of us. We had a great time, and you know, this year we're both nominated again, and first person that calls me and texts me is probably Derek, and he's like, congrats, bro. I'm like, I know, but we just keep making this a thing, I guess, that we're just going to keep having parties together and going to all these events together. So it's, you know, so glad in this like group of people that in our industry, sometimes it can be so vicious. And, you know, when we come together and we all celebrate each other who's nominated, it's incredible, the camaraderie in the industry.
Last year on So You Think You Can Dance, in addition to you know, choreographing routines, you also mentored Team Stage during the Stage versus Street season, and one of your contestants, Gabby Diaz, ended up winning the season, which happened 2 days after you won the Emmy. So what was that whole week like for you?
That was my birthday was actually that week as well. It was literally 6 days of craziness. It was amazing. You know, I was really proud of Gabby. She really worked hard, and you know, I really, really concentrated on her at the very end. I was like, I really believe that she can win this show. And I just wanted her to put her best foot forward. And, you know, after I won the Emmy and then she won, I was just like, okay, this week is probably one of the best weeks of my life, just because of how much excitement just kept coming up. You know, and then my birthday was there, and then I started back on Shaping Sound. I'm super proud of Gabby. She's doing an amazing job this year on the show as an all-star. And I actually just hired Gabby to come out with my dance company, Shaping Sound, in the fall, in September, October. So, yeah, I love Gabby.
And this year you're nominated for 3 routines from, you know, that you choreographed during last summer's So You Think You Can Dance season. Working so closely with the contestants on a week-to-week basis as you were doing that way last year, did that affect your approach to choreographing for them?
I think I knew them better. I think when it's like sometimes when you come in from the outside and you're working with a group of dancers that you don't really know really well, you kind of it takes a little bit more time. With the ghost piece, like the group piece that I did, I really come on and I always choreograph on the spot. I rarely come in with anything choreographed because I felt like sometimes I waste time when I create this whole number, then I come in and I'm actually working with the dancers that are going to be performing it, and it doesn't look right on them or it doesn't really work, and I end up just wasting time. So with that piece, I had to choreograph it on the stage because it was how to reveal these ghosts out of the darkness. And so trying to figure out where the camera has to go. And, I trusted them and they trusted me, and we only had 4 to 5 hours to put that whole group number together. And I don't know how well I would have executed it if I wasn't working with them every single day that week. So, or that entire season. So I already knew them. I knew exactly what I was going to be able to get from them. I knew what their strengths were. I knew how to choreograph the large group section that I knew everybody could do in sync. So it definitely did help out last year.
And that group routine, Beautiful Friends, was such a great use of lighting. The light was, itself almost like another dancer in that routine.
It was.
Was that element of the routine something that you also came up with as you were doing it, or did you have that idea from the beginning?
I around April, May, when we do the callbacks in Vegas for So You Think, I went up to the lighting designer. I said I had this really amazing idea for a stage number, because I knew we were doing a street number and a stage number every week. I was like, I have this amazing idea. I'm obsessed with the ghost light. I've been obsessed with ghost light since I was 12 years old. And I have this idea I really want to play with. I said, is there a way that I can get a light bulb on a stick? I mean, does it have to have a cord? Can we make this cordless? And I was just like, kind of work with me here. What am I going to be able to make up here? He goes, actually, I just invented, this guy's name is Bob Barnhart. He wins the Emmys every year. He's amazing. I'm so thankful for him. But he's like, I just invented this golf lamp that they use on golf courses at night so people can play golf at night. And he's like, and it has this little thing. It has a little lamp on top. And I was like, yeah, bring it in. Let's see. And he brought it in and it clicks on and off without a cord. And I was like, oh, this is my light. I was like, this is it. I was like, can I get 7 of them? He's like, absolutely. So then we brought on stage and we tried one of them, and then we realized it was we didn't need to have any other light on stage until the very end. And then like, these moments are my favorite, when you get to collaborate with the lighting designer and the costume, Marina, and then all the hair and makeup, they all come together and they paint their faces white and they find this way to make their hair white, and the costumes come together. It's just like when all departments come together, those are my favorite moments, because then everyone truly believes in the final product, and everyone contributed, and that's what makes me just so proud about that one group piece.
You're nominated for also 2 other routines that you choreographed last season as well. And one of them, "Give Me All Your Love," you actually performed in the season finale along with Jenna Dewan Tatum. How did that dance come together?
Adam Shankman actually called Jenna and said, "Hey, will you dance for the Dizzy Feet Foundation," which was in July. She's like, yeah, sure. And he was like, will you dance with Travis? And Adam called me, like, will you dance with Jenna Dewan Tatum? I was like, will I? Sure. Okay. And she's like, I haven't danced in 5 years. So we got in the dance studio and we were working kind of just like, all right, what are we going to make this routine? We didn't have a song. We were just like, all right, let's start moving around. And she was incredible. I was like, are you serious? You haven't danced in 5 years and you're dancing this well? She was like, I don't know. You're just partnering me really well. And I was like, okay. We did the routine on at Dizzy Feet, and the producers and Nigel came up to us and go, that was incredible. Can you guys please perform this on the finale? And so Jenna had to make it work in her schedule because she was starting to shoot, I think, Supergirl around that time. And we did it on the finale, and we actually had to change the song because our song wasn't approved. And so I switched it to Alabama Shake. So we put our routine to the Alabama Shake song, and we did it on the finale. And then it's just so strange how a routine comes up like that, and then it ends up being part of my body of work that's nominated. So it was pretty cool. And Channing was in the audience, and he's a huge fan, and he was just like, that was so hot. And I was like, cool. Channing Tatum thinks my dancing's hot with his wife. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna take it. That was a pretty cool day.
Was it easy to adapt the dance to a different song, or is it basically sort of like easy to swap it out, or did it require any changes?
We did a lot of what I call copy and pasting, like where you take the routine and you switch around the sections to make it work to the music. It's like, okay, this lift that we did on this song, okay, that sounds better towards the end. So you kind of move around the routine and structure the moves in that way, still maintaining the storyline throughout the whole thing. So that only took about 2 rehearsals to figure out, but I actually much prefer it to the Alabama Shake song. And I actually didn't know that song before when I picked the first song. And then I heard the Alabama Shake song. I was like, oh, I should have choreographed to this. And then we ended up, oh, well, our song didn't get used, so now we have to use this song. So I love that song. And so I'm very happy that we were able to use it.
And the last routine you're nominated for choreographing is November, which is very different from the other two. They're all the three very different routines that you're up for. This one was actually with one of the contestants, Jim Nowakowski, and all-star Alex Wong, who are both ballet dancers. Choreographing that dance for their particular skills.
Yeah, I mean, they are, how gorgeous of dancers are they? I mean, it's crazy what their bodies can do. I wanted to show their technique off as much as possible. They're beautiful ballet dancers. And, the piece was a little close to home for me, and it was about a father coming back in much later in life and wanting to make contact again. And it's how the son deals with that confrontation. That was another finale piece, which I was supposed to choreograph that piece during the competition. And the producers thought that Jim was going to make the finale, and they were wrong. He didn't make the finale. And so that routine that we were supposed to keep for the final competition ended up having to be a showcase only performance. And so, we had little time to put that together, probably 3 hours to put that entire routine together. And because of their technique and, it was incredible. I mean, the body positions I put those boys in was truly, it's remarkable. So it's kudos to them because their technique really, I believe, drove that piece and became so beautiful. And it is different. The reason why I did select that part of my body of work is because, you have the big extravagant group piece, and then you have, the sexy hot routine with Jenna, which is amazing and special on its own. And then I just wanted to highlight that because it's just, you don't get to see dancing and technique like that every single day. And it's extraordinary what 2 men can do together.
And this season of So You Think You Can Dance is quite different. It's the next generation where the show is competing child dancers. How much experience did you have working with or choreographing child dancers before this season?
Actually, I've been choreographing children since I was 15 years old. I teach on dance convention every single weekend of my life for the past 12 years. And so that's 36 weekends a year and choreographing at all these dance studios. So the reason why I usually know every contestant on So You Think You Can Dance is because I've probably been doing their solos since they were 12 years old. So I had a lot of experience working with kids. When they came up with the concept and, all the producers started coming out to the dance conventions, they knew and I knew the talent was going to be incredible. I knew they were going to find some pretty extraordinary kids. What I wasn't sure about was what we were going to be able to pull out of them, what we were going to be able to do content-wise. So you think we always do these incredible, really emotional driven pieces that have to do with, content and family and social issues and stuff like that. So I didn't know what we were going to get out of them, and I was completely wrong this season. I am so blown away by the content level we can have with these kids. It's amazing, and the pieces that I've been able to do already this year with them, and I'm truly impressed. And being around them too, I'm sure you fall in love with them on TV, but being around those kids, my heart is bleeding. And they're just the cutest things I've ever seen in my life. Every time they open their mouth or something, it's just, it really is a special season. I've never had an experience like this at So You Think You Can Dance. It feels like a different show, and I couldn't be more proud to still be a part of it.
And given as you mentioned that these young dancers are so capable of not just the technical content but the emotional content of these dances, has your choreography for them ended up being more or less the same way you might choreograph for adult dancers?
Absolutely. I was always trained that way as a kid growing up. My mom never treated me as a child in my training process. She always wished for the best for me, and I was pushing those kids because I believe that they are at that level of any 18-year-old dancer that's been on the show. You know, maybe their bodies are smaller and their brains aren't processing the information as quickly as someone who's older, but I truly believe that their dancing ability is just as great as someone who is 18 or older. It was a contestant on the show. The maturity level is obviously not there, but as far as ability, it is there. So you just have to kind of structure and take care of it and, you know, really help them execute what you truly believe in. So, you know, last week with Tate, I mean, she's 13 years old and she is, I mean, her technique is possibly better than any other contestant that's ever been on the show. And she's 13 years old. So it's remarkable what these kids can do.
And you know, since your own dance career does go back to childhood, it must be it must help you also relate to them in a way. Yeah, to have basically walked in their shoes.
Absolutely. You know, when I was doing the mirror piece with JT and Robert, I was like, the piece is about looking into the mirror and seeing your younger reflection of yourself and what the younger reflection of yourself would say to you, and if it had an opportunity to speak. And you know, I think that the 10-year-old version of myself would look at me and say, slow down, enjoy everything that's happening, because this is everything you've ever dreamed of. And sometimes, you know, you get so caught up in the schedule and working every single day and not trying to catch up on sleep that you kind of forget, like, this is everything that you've ever wanted. And so, yeah, I mean, just to think about these kids, they're 10 years old having this experience on stage. Well, I was 18 when I had that moment as a contestant. And to think about now they're having this at 10 years old, the futures these kids have in front of them. So it's, yeah, it's exciting.
Now this season of the show isn't over yet, but are there any routines that you've choreographed this season already that you feel like, you know, that will go well on an Emmy reel for next year?
Yeah, I do. I think, you know, just because it just completes a body of work, I think it's really important to show variety. With the JT and Robert piece, I've never ever had this happen to me, neither it's never happened for the show, but the routine went viral in the first week on Facebook, and it's had 17 million views in 1 week. And that is bananas for this dance show. That dance has touched this many people around the world. It ended up being 28 million people around the world saw it in 1 week. And so I was just like, for dance to have that outreach is incredible, you know, and that makes me so happy, because it's just like that. I care so much about dance. Like, I've lived dance every single day of my entire life. I was born in a dance studio. My mom was my dance teacher. And it's dance is my life. And for it to get that outreach is just incredible. So I really loved that piece. And I did a group piece called Sin and the Clowns, which was very different for me, very different for the show. It was finally those moments where I stopped kind of creating, oh, I'm doing this piece for So You Think You Can Dance. I just started creating and saying, maybe this is different for the show. Maybe this is what it needs, and this is what I need. I'm finally feel like I'm starting to finally scratch at the surface creatively. I'm starting to take those walls and boundaries that maybe I've put up, and the structure that I think I have to have for a certain job. And I'm just letting it start to flow out. And I'm just really happy with the how authentic my work feels right now, and I want to keep that going as much as possible.
Well, I want to congratulate you on that great work that you continue to do, and the 6th Emmy nomination. Fingers crossed for your 7th next year. Also, and, thank you so much for talking to me today.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it.